Jennifer Lambers with this edition of Next Weather and focusing on the short term. Right now, what we're starting to see clear skies across the southeast. Conditions, they look great out there. We're seeing plenty of sunshine so far for this evening. That's only going to continue heading later on into the overnight hours. Seeing those clear skies to start off for your Friday morning. Now, heading into tomorrow morning, there's lower humidity across the Gulf Coast, so a bit more of a crisp start to begin the day. Expecting lower 60s by 7 a.m. Plenty of sunshine by late morning with those temperatures quickly warming up closer towards 11 a.m. Expecting us to be right around 80 degrees with some breezy winds possible. Now, timing things out in our futurecast, starting off for this evening, we're going to continue to see more of those clear skies. That's going to continue heading into the overnight hours. Things are going to be staying calm and quiet to head into your Friday. I know a lot of schools let out yesterday or today, so a lot of you making plans for the weekend, and luckily things are going to be looking pretty nice. Seeing sunshine by the time we get closer towards lunchtime and heading into the afternoon. Now, by the second half of your Friday, really expecting temperatures to be maxing out in the lower to mid 80s. Very similar conditions for what we saw for today, plus also that lower humidity, so a bit more of a dry heat heading into the afternoon. Now, looking ahead closer towards the weekend, in case you are making plans, it's looking great all across the Gulf Coast. Saturday and Sunday, temperatures going to be resting in the mid 80s, staying dry, staying sunny, and then heading closer towards Monday, expecting temperatures to be resting in the upper 80s, and we're going to be staying dry all weekend long. Perfect conditions to head on down towards the beach. Now, rip current risks have been low for the past couple of days, expecting it to stay that way heading into tomorrow, Saturday, plus also Sunday. That surf height staying just around 1 to 2 feet. Now, in case you are traveling, expecting different conditions closer towards Georgia and the Carolinas. The National Hurricane Center right now focusing on an area of low pressure, low chances of development over the next 7 days. However, it's increasing rip current risk and wind speeds just closer towards the Carolina coast, not impacting things here locally. We're going to be staying calm and quiet. Now, coming up in just a little bit, we're going to have more weather details on what you can expect, plus also your 7-day outlook. I'm going to have all those details coming up when we come back.
Can I play? Sure, but you need to bring your own truck. That's not a problem.
The FOX10 Storm Tracker Fleet, taking you live to more places, covering the Gulf Coast like no one else can. Unrivaled experience, unparalleled severe weather coverage.
I think I need a bigger sandbox.
Now, with some slightly drier air across the area today, you may have heard us mention the dew point, but have you ever actually wondered what that actually is? Meteorologist Nicholas Herboso explains.
Dew point is a surprisingly fantastic way to tell what the weather is outside. Something what we might show regularly, something like a currents map showing different temperatures, it looks like, across the map. But what does it actually mean? Well, the simple thing is dew point is a measure of the moisture in the air. There is, however, a little bit of a more scientific definition. Let me explain here. If we go full screen on this here, air temperature 67 degrees, dew point 65 degrees here. Give me an example. What happens if the air temperature drops to 65 degrees to match the dew point? Think of it as the dew point matching the temperature. The temperature has reached its dew point. Condensation can occur. Dew point, the temperature at which moisture in the air condenses into water droplets. That's essentially saying whenever the air temperature equals the dew point temperature, that means condensation, something like fog, can form. But that's the scientific definition. The better way to think about it, a simple comfort scale. All we're talking about is take a look at the dew point temperature and figure out what's going on. If you're in the low 60s, below 60s, it's comfortable. If you're way down there in the 40s, that's actually quite dry. When the dew point's 61 to 65, it can be noticeably humid out there. 66 to 70, that can get uncomfortable. It's feeling more muggy. And then 71 and then above, miserable to unbearable. That is the stickiest air out there. So whenever you're heading outside, take a look at the dew point temperature. It can tell you a lot about what's going on. In the studio, Nicholas Herboso, Fox 10 News.
Some great information there. Thank you, Nick. Now, as most of you know, storms can produce lots of hazards to the Gulf Coast, one of which is hail. Meteorologist Michael White has a quick look at how hail forms.
I'm meteorologist Michael White, and it is time for another edition of Next Weather, where we are going to be talking about hail. That's right. Something that we deal with a lot in severe thunderstorms, and something that can damage roofs, something that can definitely damage cars, especially windshields. And I know everyone on the Gulf Coast has run into that at some point, and these things are very freaky looking because you got all these ice pellets just falling from the sky, and a lot of them are falling at a pretty fast rate. But the hail varies in sizes, as most of you know. Some of it's very small. Other parts of it are very, very large. And here's a glimpse at some of the different sizes. You know, when we say, hey, it's this size or this size, I'll zoom in a little tighter towards this, and you can see that if it's a BB size hail, let me zoom in a little tighter on this map so you can get a better look at it. Here we go. So BB size hail is coming in less than 1/4 of an inch. Pea size hail is at 1/4 of an inch. Marble size is 1/2 inch. Penny size hail, 3/4 of an inch. And in order for a thunderstorm to be severe, you know, a severe thunderstorm has two pieces of criteria. One is wind speeds that are greater than 58 miles an hour. The other is hail that is greater than 1 inch in diameter. So that would mean the size of a quarter. If it's 1 inch and 1/4, it's the size of a $50. Walnut, 1.5 inches. Golf ball size hail is 1 3/4 inches. And then we continue down the list. Tennis ball size hail, 2.5 inches in diameter. Baseball size hail, 2 3/4 of an inch in diameter. Then you get into the really bad stuff. 4 inch in diameter if it's the size of a grapefruit, and softball even greater than 4 inches in diameter. Now, thankfully, we don't see hail that large except in the strongest of thunderstorms, but that sort of gives you an indication of when you hear people say tennis ball size hail, golf ball size hail, quarter size hail. It gives you another indicator on exactly how big these things are. And obviously, the bigger the hail size, the more damage they can cause. And here's a glimpse at how that can happen. We'll zoom in a little tighter towards this map. When it comes to hail formation. So what takes place is you have raindrops that are sucked into the updraft. They get sucked into the updraft of a thunderstorm. Then you have the freezing level. That's where the temperatures are below freezing. So when those rain droplets get sucked up like a vacuum cleaner, they freeze and turn into little ice pellets. Well, then they end up falling back down to earth. The hail becomes too large for the cloud to hold them, and they end up falling back to earth, causing a cold downdraft, and that results in the hail. And a lot of these happen when the storm cloud tops are extremely high. And you can see that some of the cloud tops can end up upwards of 50,000 feet high, which we deal with a lot in the summertime. We typically don't get clouds that high except in the summer. In the spring, we get cloud tops that are about, I'd say, 30 to 40,000 feet, and that, of course, is obviously big enough for there to be hail. Now, those 50,000-foot clouds, the reason why they're really relevant on the Gulf Coast is because in the summertime, that allows us to see lightning from tremendous distances, especially at night, and that's how you get that heat lightning effect. Growing up, a lot of people always thought heat lightning wasn't real lightning, but it's lightning from a storm that's just far away from you, and in the summer, the cloud tops can get up to 50,000 feet high, and you can just see them from tremendous distances. So whenever we have the risk of hail in a thunderstorm, we're always underneath a severe thunderstorm warning. Now, your phones will usually always automatically alert you if there's a tornado warning, but a lot of times they won't go off automatically if there's a severe thunderstorm warning. You've got to make sure that you set it up to do that, and the best way to do that is getting your hands on the FOX10 weather app. If you don't have it, go to your phone's app store today and download it for free, and you can set up what warnings and watches you want to get for your individual location. For Next Weather, I'm meteorologist Michael White. Have a wonderful rest of your evening.
Some great information there. Thank you, Michael. Now, coming up on Next Weather, I'm going to have a final look at your long-range forecast. We'll be right back.
New to the Fox 10 weather app, your 24-hour radar forecast. Be the first to see how precipitation is going to affect your plants across the Gulf Coast. Detailed hour by hour. The 24-hour radar forecast on the Fox 10 weather app. Plus the latest breaking news with the Fox 10 News app.
Got him both.
Stay alert with Fox 10.
Always a great addition there. Now, taking a look at your full 7-day outlook, plenty of sunshine across the Gulf Coast heading into this weekend. I know it's a big holiday weekend. Just make sure you're being careful out there. Stay hydrated, take plenty of breaks, and especially be cautious heading into Monday. Really expecting temperatures to jump there. The good news, lower humidity heading into Saturday and Sunday. Mornings, they're going to go from that crisp, cool feel to a bit more mild heading into midweek next week. Rain chances slightly on the rise heading into a brand new month. Enjoy the weekend. Stay safe out there. Be cautious of the traffic. That's all for this edition of Next Weather. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.